Brickyard, J.W. Miller wins.
Three races left in the Black Horizon Truck Series for the Great Lakes Sim Racing Series. And we hit a stretch that could easily be known as the wild cards, if you will, of the season. We have had multiple different winners. We've had great racing. We've had controversy. And tonight is the start of something interesting. 2 straight short track races. We've raced on dirt. We've raced on road courses. We've raced on unique ovals. And tonight, it is the first, as I mentioned, of 2 historic short track races. The interesting one about this first one, it's a track that, as of earlier this season, no longer exists, unfortunately. It is now a condominium area. It is a track that is featured on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Lost Speedway show, which is on Peacock, by the way. It's kind of ironic that tonight we go to Myrtle Beach Speedway, a historic track that has hosted Cars Tour races, multiple different super late modified series, in regular late modifieds. And tonight it hosts the Black Horizon Truck Series season, race number 8 of season 8 here in South Carolina. Myrtle Beach in the Lost Speedways 200 at this half-mile oval here right on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. 65 degrees ambient, 18% humidity, partly cloudy skies, 5-mile-an-hour winds, and of course it is the Black Horizon Truck Series season in round number 8 tonight. 3 races to go before we set the playoffs for the championship of season number 8. So, I was wondering how this was going to look when you get into Google Earth and we check out Myrtle Beach Speedway. I was like, are we going to get the actual speedway, or are we going to get the condominiums? Well, here is our answers. We take a look at what is on the Google Earth, if this thing is going to cooperate with me and actually zoom in like it's supposed to. Actually, thankfully, you're looking at the screen right now, so you can't see the errors I'm having. We're going to click down here and get it to work out. But if for some reason it don't even want to show on there, why? I don't... Oh, I know why. We're going to zoom out for a quick second here, and I'm going to change to the screen. That's why, because every time I do this, I have to load up another screen. Basically onto it. So let's do this one more again. And let's go to Myrtle Beach Speedway, if you will. As there's the Earth right there for us. And bada bing, bada boom. Myrtle Beach Speedway. 15th time's charm. And you'll see that, well, the track is nowhere near there. Why in the world did it go there? Did it, like, update itself or something? There's the Speedway. Oh my gosh, this thing's lost. Okay, anyways, no pun intended. So basically, this is now, unfortunately, a condominium complex. The track was torn down. The only thing that exists now is right here, where my mouse is kind of being shown on the map. If you could see it right about here, that part of the wall still is there. And it's actually the entrance to the condominium complex now that you can get into. But that is all that sits in real life at Myrtle Beach Speedway. But here it is, a track that Dale Jr. has talked about. He's raced many of times. He was there for that last race that they ran, and then they went right to work, bulldozed the place down, and turned it into what it is today. But it's going to be a wild one this afternoon or this evening as we get ready for a half-mile track and a short track that unfortunately could produce a lot of action from the caution standpoint, but could also produce a lot of green flag racing. We shall see which one it's going to be. Point standings entering tonight's race. Sam Fontaine, now a 31-point lead over Ricky Springer. Just like that, Last week, terrible week for Fontaine, good week for Springer. The points battle is back up there for the top spot. Alex Cummings third, Luke Canup, Caden Atkins, Luke Daniels, Blaine Sparling, Strayer, Pierce, Peachin. Your top 10, Stephen Miles right there on the outskirts, 3 points back of Peachin. Telders right there. Dalton's right there. Alphin, who's on a bad streak, he's right there. Dane Cruz, who's won 2 races, he's right there. JW Miller, he's not going to be here tonight, so that could be an interesting factor. But so many great drivers, and tonight, as I mentioned, a wild card race, because if it does turn into a potential wreckfest, if you will, points are going to be up for battle, basically, when it's all over with. But either way, strategy is going to play a major role tonight in this race, if it's all green or all yellow, when it's all said and done. But the qualifying is done with from this half-mile track, and let's get you ready with the starting lineup here from Myrtle Beach Speedway, virtually here on iRacing. A name that some say is the guy to beat tonight is going to be on the pole, and that is that driver right there, the 77 of Sam Fontaine, with Brandon Alphin starting on the outside there in row 1. Bryce McCune, great qualifying run there, good short track driver in that 95 truck. He'll start next to Luke Daniels. Jason Dalton and Matt Telder, they'll start row number 3. Cam Ingram, Ricky Springer, last week's winner there in row number 4. Ben Pierce, who's a little under the weather, he'll start 9th after his fantastic run last week alongside Jeremy Frere. Alex Cummings and Brian Sutphin, they will take row number 6. Sutphin, a really good short track racer, so look at him potentially working his way up through the field this evening. Stephen Miles, Sean Peachin, row number 7. Row 8, the Dean Machine and Blaine Sparling. Lucas Strayer, Drayton Cook, who's pretty good at Bristol, good short track racer, so he might be one that sneaks up there. Dane Cruz, Tim Abril, row 10. Row 11, Luke Canup and Jason Branch. Row 12, Cedric Ingram and Will Martin. Row 13 is Tyler Brewer and Alex Bryson. Travis Icavaci, Robert Lukens. Row 14, row 15, Dalton Wilson and Casey Duncan. That will be the drivers that will start. 30 trucks here tonight. And, of course, we are joined by our admin and associate here, the guy that helps me out a little bit up here in the booth, keeps you guys from being bored from me. I'm going to bring him up here, and hopefully I don't interrupt the conversation with him and Josh. Kevin, here we are, man. Short track race. Are you warmed up and ready to go yet? He might not hear me. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I'm sitting there talking to myself the whole time. Kevin, short track race here. How we feeling?
I think it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm actually I'm excited to see what's going to be happening here. Some of these guys don't seem like they practice a whole lot. Some of these other guys seem pretty confident in making it through turn 1, but it's definitely going to be a nail-biter.
It is going to be a nail-biter. Should mention tonight is a custom setup, and a big shout out to Edward Setup Shop for working on the setup for this race this evening. Of course, they're a sponsor of the league, and hopefully you got your fantasy picks in, and hopefully you listen to the podcast. You got all that ready. But Kevin, sit back. Let's hope you don't have to do some work here for a little bit. As we come off turn number 4, 200 laps of racing, and I think we had the green waved off. Probably a good thing. I'm just saying. We're going to let Kevin, I'm going to slide him down to the booth here in just a second. But he and actually Josh Gagnon, who is recovering from surgery on his ankle, are kind of co-admitting tonight. They're going to be looking over things, making sure everything's okay. So, but yeah, 200 laps of racing. Icavaci actually did not grid, so 29 trucks are here ready to rock and roll on this half-mile short track. Let's all remember the history of this race and this track and what it always used to be, and enjoy a night of racing at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Off turn 4, Fontaine and Alphin bring them to the start-finish line in the green flag. First ever time, GLSR at Myrtle Beach. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online or on Facebook. They're in the iRacing forums, and of course at TrackCams22.com. Fontaine leads lap 1. As I mentioned earlier, some say he is the guy to beat tonight. A setup that was built predominantly on the right rear, almost like a super late model. or a Tour Mod, the way those cars race. So if you know how to drive a loose race car, you should be okay here tonight. If you don't, you've got about 200 laps to learn. Fontaine out to 0.7 of a second already as he pulls away. Bryce McCune up to second. Alphin, Luke Daniels, and Jason Dalton, your top 5. Everybody pretty much single file and pacing themselves right now. A little bit of action back here with Blaine Sparling, William Martin, Alex Bryson. This is all back at the 22nd position. 3 wide, coming out of 4. Bryson there in that black and purple truck. I talked a little bit about Brian Sutphin being the guy. Let's show you a lap around this track. It is a odd D-shaped oval. Flat, very turn 1 and 2, straight back, straight away. Into turn 3 and 4. And as you go down the front straightaway here, you're going to notice it's pretty straight for the most part, and then it bends before turn 1. And then you notice those turtles, I guess if you will, to the inside there at the pit road line. Those are those like reflector lights that you see on the highway that are a pain in the you-know-what when you hit them. Yeah, they got to miss those things tonight over in turn 1. So a lot of different factors here in this race. A lot of different obstacles and a lot of guys just buying this track before practice, which scared me when I first heard that because I'm like, oh boy, hope you guys are ready for this. But so far, 7 laps in and we're good as Ricky gets a little loose there off 4. Telder there behind him. Cam Ingram in the 8th position right now. Fontaine out to 1.4 seconds over McCune, Alphin, Daniels, and Dalton. And another thing I heard from the crew tonight, very tough to pass, which makes sense. It's a short track race. Might have to use some bumpers, and hopefully you left your tempers. As Fontaine comes to pit road, something's wrong with Sam. What in the world happened to Fontaine? Something had to have happened like at his house or real life or something, because he literally just turned off the track and parked it. Oh, that is a huge plot twist in this race. As Bryce McCune leads this race, and that might be a sign that this could be very interesting tonight. Oh, boy. Hope everything's okay in Sam's house in all seriousness, or whatever the situation is, family or whatever, because that's the kind of situation that kind of scares you a little bit. As Sutphin underneath Alex Cummings, this is a battle for 9th right here. Stephen Miles there in that 7 truck, right behind him, ready to pounce. The reason why I bring up Brian Sutphin being a good short track driver, back when I first got back into broadcasting a couple of years ago, obviously I started doing this series and iRacing, but another series that brought me on was the Short Track Super League. Michael Steffen and those guys there. That's actually where I met Telder and Luke Daniels, a lot of these guys. Brian Sutphin was running in that league, him and Jason Dalton and a couple others, and it's a short track league. That's all they run are short tracks. So Sutphin showed me over there. He can, he hit the one of those markers, but he showed me there he can run a short track. So that's where, from this point, anytime you're on a short track, I made the suggestion during the podcast that Brian Sutphin needs to be in your fantasy lineup because he can drive these short tracks pretty well. As we're 15 laps in right now, and hopefully you did get your lineup set. You do have the chance to win a butt kicker as part of the prize this season for fantasy racing. And of course, by doing that, all you have to do is get the top lineup each and every week. As around goes Ricky Springer. So issues for the 2 of the top 3 in points, and there's your first caution for those who drew lap 17 in the drawing of when the first caution would come out. It is lap 17. Excuse me. and is for the 51 of Ricky Springer. I will hold the terminology off for a caution or two. Let's see what happens to Ricky. Gets a run there on the inside of Dalton. Oh, lap car on the inside of Casey Duncan. And they just hit each other there. Looked like Casey was trying to maintain the bottom lane. Just a little off the pace there. That's short track racing on a Wednesday night, boys, right there. And Casey was really off the pace because they caught him really quick here in turn 1. Caution is out, and remember, only 3 sets of tires here. You're going to get some cars to pit road here. Alex Bryson, Ricky Springer, Will Martin. Those 3 on pit road right now. As the leaders stay out here. Amid the first caution here of the night. So as always, big shout out to Butt Kicker. I was starting to talk about there before that caution came out. Butt Kicker Fantasy Prize, basically the top point scorer every week. It's a raffle ticket, and they'll draw at the end of the season. Edwards Setup Shop, of course, as I mentioned, the setup built by those guys tonight, or I think it's Austin Edwards, the gentleman's name that built the setup. And of course, tonight's sponsorship is actually Telders Treehouse. Matt Telder is sponsoring this race, but he has changed the name to the Lost Speedways 200. Of course, I think that's just a name play on this track being no longer in existence, unfortunately. So one of the cool things, though, that iRacing did was get this track on iRacing before it went bye-bye. So we still get to run what was for a lot of drivers, NASCAR drivers. You go ask them right now, one of their favorite tracks, a lot of them will mention this Myrtle Beach Speedway. It's like I said, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his sister Kelly, amongst others that grew up here in this with this track. Of course, you go back to some of the 90s races and even into early 2000. They used to run this track in the Xfinity Series at the time. Now Busch Series, or at the time it's Busch Series, now Xfinity Series. As we'll come back to green, lap 22 with Bryce McCune, Brandon Alphin, Luke Daniels, Jason Dalton, and Telder now your top 5. Ricky Springer is going to restart 26th. As Flagman has the green flag in hand, and there goes Bryson. I was wondering if the Flagman was pulling a, whatever the guy from the F1 GP in Coda last week was. Not wanting to wave the flag. Daniels underneath Alphin here. And caution back out, Tyler Brewer. And Casey Duncan involved also. And as I hate to admit here, cautions breed cautions. Got the first one out of the way, and now number 2 is out. Let's see what happens to Tyler Brewer. He's on the outside of Blaine Sparling. Oh, and he tries to get to the bottom, and Dalton Wilson, I should say. And then Ricky Springer gets collective. Casey Duncan decides to stop. Probably smart move on his part. But one of those elevator moves by Brewer to get to the bottom. And unfortunately, Dalton Wilson gives him the old yeet job. Obviously, a spotter cleared him right there behind Blaine. He cuts down there, and at that time, it's just too late. Dalton's already committed to the corner. Ricky gets kind of whipped into the wall there a little bit, so not a good start for the 51 either. As caution 2 is out, let's see if anybody pits here. They do not. Again, 3 sets of tires throughout this race. So this being race 8 of the season, this brings up a very another big time deal that is coming here in just a couple weeks. It's one that I have not really said much about throughout the season. The drivers know about it, the admins know about it, but coming up here in 2 weeks is race number 100 in series history, coming up to Michigan Speedway, ironically, pretty much where it all got started. And we're going to have some fun with that coming up here in 2 weeks, the final race of the regular season, race number 100 in series history. And we'll be ready to rock and roll coming up there in 2 weeks in Michigan. So we're going to celebrate. And not to mention, all 100 races are here on the Captain Esports Network. We've been here from the start of the series that night at Talladega Super Speedway when Chris Evans passed Christopher Dean on the final lap. I think there was like 4 cars left in the race out of like 20 or 15, 20 cars or something like that. I mean, we've been through it all, from that to Zach Allman being the only multi-time champion, to the dirt racing that got going, to road course racing, William Calhoun lapping the field a couple times. The Anthony Marshall pass at Michigan to win the first ever Prehistoric Forest 200. The first playoff championship in season 3. We've been through it all for 100 races. As we come back to the green, Bryce McCune leading. Sam Fontaine started on pole, but unfortunately, lap number 9, issues for Fontaine, and he had to pull off the track. I haven't been able to talk to really anybody, as obviously I've been here with you guys, to find out what potentially happened with the 77, if it was just a personal thing or something going on with his computer, or maybe it was a brake issue, because he has had some pedal issues. We found out last week with his issue at last week's race at the Milwaukee Mile, that he was having some pedal issues. Could be that. I mean, there's so many little factors that could play and role here. As we watch Ben Pearson at Get Soap number 18 truck inside of Cam Ingram there, and that's Spicy number 5. He's going to lose a position. And then the all-black Sean Peachin truck. I mean, it's literally all black. The number's even black. And Stephen Miles there behind him, and there's the Dean machine there in the 48. Brandon Alfin falling back here. He's lost a couple spots. Daniel's going by, Telders gone by, and now Jason Dalton. Remember those short trackers I was talking about? Here they are, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. All of them have run in that previous league I talked about. And Alfin gets in there in front of Dalton, so great job on his part. Alex Cummings has worked his way up there. Brian Sutphin up 6th position so far in this race. Luke Knupp up 6. And Dalton Wilson in trouble. Over in turn 3. Where's the field? That's actually turn 1, sorry. No caution. But the field should be coming here. Right here behind him. What happened to the 20 truck? Just loses the back end there. Just got in too deep into the corner. Luke getting a little tight there off turn 4. Track's tricky, especially with that bend over at turn 1. It's almost like an extra corner, if you will. So Dalton's going to go lap down as Telder's going to go by. Everybody kind of minding their business here. Look through the standings here a little bit. We got one little battle, if you will, back here with Dean and Drayton Cook for the 15th position. Jeremy Ferrer there behind him. And then there's Springer, who's already worked his way back up to the 18th position after restarting 26. He's been in both wrecks. Probably already pretty frustrated. Everybody doing a fairly good job here for the most part. It's like I said during the podcast, and I kind of said it before the race, it was like there's a chance that tonight could be bad when it comes to cautions. There's a chance that it runs green, and we've done well so far. 2 cautions in the first 40 laps. I'm not trying to jinx anything or whatever if you believe in that. Just more speaking the facts of what we've seen so far here on the track as Springer inside of Frere to 55 here. Battle of pink trucks. Springer takes the spot away. Obviously a dominant bottom line for the most part here. Everybody giving each other pretty good room for the most part here. So 2-car breakaway up in the front with Bryce and Daniels have pulled away to about 1.3 over Telder. But again, as I mentioned, kind of a tire saving type of race too at the same time, because that right rear, again, this truck is used to driving off the right front, but here with this setup, it's built off the right rear a little bit. So that's keeping it kind of free, probably mid-corner. Actually had one driver tell me tonight that it actually takes a good 5 laps for the setup to come to you. It's actually pretty loose at the start of a run, so. Alex Cummings here putting some pressure on the 26 as Brian gets a little loose off 4. Good save on his part. Alex gave him a little break there off the corner. Miles looking inside of Cam Ingram there. Strayer behind him. And then Dane Cruz behind him there in the 46 as Cam almost catches the wall. Dane Cruz back there, Luke Knupp, Drayton Cook. As we're 50 laps, already quarter distance in this race, and William Martin with issues. Over on the front straightaways in the grass. Should not bring a caution. Now he should get up to speed here. Here comes Bryce. This is going to be close. Yep, we stayed green. Good job. Appreciate the 19 viewers on the stream tonight. If you're new to the chat, hit the subscribe button. If you're not new to the chat, we appreciate you coming back. The Lost Speedway's 200 here at the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway. See Sutphin and Cummings continue to fight it out. Brian gives them some room there. Let's look at some of the history here of this track. It was built in 1958. Obviously a semi-banked 5.538 mile track. Actually, believe it or not, the Cup Series competed here from 58 to 65 in that race. And, of course, the Xfinity Series from 88 to 2000. As I mentioned, some of the names earlier, Dale Jr., Kelly Earnhardt, a couple to race here, but others. How about this? Jeff Gordon, the Petties. I mentioned the Earnhardts, including Ralph and Dale Sr. They've all taken the green flag on this track. And it was a dirt track, obviously, as it got started back in the day. Then about 2020, it looks like the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series raced every Saturday night. It looked like from February through November. And, of course, other classics. They had the Myrtle Beach 400, the Icebreaker 200, amongst other races and stuff. So many different things that happened, and unfortunately it came down to the track being closed down and turned into what is now a condominium. Now, some of the tracks were actually moved around, some of the races previously at this track. The Icebreaker actually is now ran at Florence Speedway. Of course, that was starting in February of 2021. And then, of course, there's the South Carolina 400, the Charlie Powell Memorial. That is also ran, I believe, at Florence. So, Lakeland, actually, believe it or not, is a Walmart. It's a Walmart distribution center now in Lakeland. All right, so Bryce McCune leads by 1.5 now over Telder after the little situation up there at the front. And, of course, Daniels is now falling back to third. So those are teammates there from the Lap 1 Legends. Brandon Alphin up to fourth. Jason Dalton up to fifth. Alex Cummings, Brian Sutphin, Ben Pierce, Sean Peachin, Stephen Miles, your top 10. And speaking of Casey, I got to show you something here. There's tons of Walmarts in Florida. Yeah, no kidding on that one, by the way. Allman's on point there. Trust me, again, grew up in Florida. I know about it. You ride with Pierce down into turn one. Sean Peachin all over him. Almost drive turn 1 and 2 like Richmond. Short straightaway here, back to turn 3 and 4. Again, very patient on the throttle, stick it right down on that white line. We can hear almost a wheel spin all the way down that straightaway. Here's trying to get around Sutphin. Pierce getting around Sutphin. Sutphin tries to get back to the bottom there before Peachin gets around him. Yeah, up here at 10th, the teammates switch position. Strayer gets by Miles. And this is not deja vu. William Martin is off the track on the front straightaway again. For him, he's gonna think it's deja vu. Alex looking inside there. I thought Jason was going to shut the door. But I'll say this, Jason Dalton, one of the cleaner drivers you can race around on a short track. And he makes the pass there into turn 1 and 2. .67 laps complete. Some great racing. Bryce McCune has definitely surprised me tonight. And you know what? As I think about it, I'm not surprised by this. For the most part. I've said, just mentioned a second ago, he has kind of surprised me with the run. But what doesn't surprise me is this guy races up in the north in Michigan. He runs, I believe it's late model stocks. And I know he's run tracks like Berlin and, oh gosh, what's the High Bank one SRX ran? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But he has run those tracks, so... And so he knows how to run the short tracks here in that 95 truck, running up front by 2 seconds over Telder, who's got about a second over Luke Daniels, who's got Brandon Alfin all over his Daniels in that 4D Racewear truck. Viewer count up to 22. Appreciate, let's see, yep, Gagnon's watching, of course, as he's helping admin tonight. Of course, Casey Carrington. So I bet you got a little surprise I got to show you here, probably Friday. Somebody actually heard me talk to you about, or talk about you in your Casey Kane paint schemes, as Dalton Wilson having issues. And he has his own version that he made once that he wanted to show off to. So. And Dalton just not having a good night at all. But Unsolved, whoever that is, appreciate you watching. And Zach Allman, of course, the all-time winning driver in series history. And speaking of all-time winners, there's the guy who moved within one race of that Zach Allman character. Ricky Springer running 14th now. He's worked his way up 12 positions. From the first caution, you see the right rear damage a little bit on that Ghost truck. Looking up there in front of him as he goes to the inside. So Sutphin starting to fall back a little bit. Oh, thank you, Caden Atkins. Caden decided not to run tonight. Instead, he's probably playing at the beach. Should mention third place, Brandon Alfin did get by Luke Daniels. So now we're starting to see the comers and goers here. Those who maybe save some tires. Of course, 100% fuel, you can go well over 100 laps. But the question is, when do you come to pit road here? Because, of course, when you pit, you risk going at least one, if not two laps down in this race. Mentioned Cam Ingram, he's fallen back to the 16th position, so I'm guessing a lot of these trucks are feeling tight in this long run right now. And of course, tight. Truck doesn't want to turn, so gets harder and harder to get back to the throttle. So those who have maybe saved that right front tire a little bit allows them to rotate the corner and make the run off and make this pass. Daniels falling back into the clutches of his teammate Alex Cummings here. See, they're getting around the lap truck of Dalton Wilson. Dalton just trying to run laps, really with that damage. 2 laps down right now. As you see how everybody runs here at this track. The half mile. See if we can spot the leader when he goes by here. There goes Springer, Casey Duncan. There's Jason Branch getting loose. There's Alfin. There's Daniels right there. So that's how quick a lap is around here. About 20 seconds or so right now. Lap times have fallen off about a second or so in this long run. And there goes Alex inside of his teammate here. I'm sure Luke's not going to work too hard on him. And one thing I'm noticing here, the lead is getting smaller as McCune gets up into lap traffic here. He's lapped Casey Duncan. He's lapped Blaine Sparling, going back past Actually, he's passing Dalton or Wilson's teammate, Alex Bryson. You would think I'd get those names right, those two specifically. But now Blaine Sparling there in the 59 truck. Telders just got to be patient here, unfortunately. And he gives a little bumper to the 59, and I think I know where that's coming from. And around goes Bryson into Telder. And into Duncan. And there's your third caution. A little short tracking going on there. And the reason why I said what I said a second ago, there's been a little bit of talk about the Red Sim design team with some defensive driving out there. Not that they did anything wrong in that situation, but Telder obviously was wanting to get through there a little bit. He gave Blaine the bumper, and it looked like maybe Blaine got up into the 38 from it. So let's see if that's exactly what took place here. See, Telder's going to go down to turn 3 here and kind of give him a little nerf right there. Actually, you know what? Let me back that up a little bit, because did Blaine get loose into the corner? If so, that would contribute to the bump. So or did Blaine brake check Telder here too? There's another factor. So let's look at this closely, as we do have trucks on pit road. We'll review those real quickly once we get to it. But I want to make sure before I call this out the way, I want to make sure I get it right. And let's ride with the 59 of Sparling. That Telder got him. He got him multiple times here. Wow. Now, obviously, I don't have the telemetry that shows like braking points or anything like that to see if the 59 like braked him into the corner there, or if Telder just drove it in there or whatnot. But it's obvious that there was contact between the two. Now, for Bryson, on the other end, he became an innocent bystander here. A little bit of netcode there, too. All right, race off pit road. Jason Branch actually going to be leader as he cuts down and goes to pit road, so that will hand it back to Bryce McCune here. But let's show the pit stops. And some interesting argy-bargy already breaking out here. I might have to bring Mr. Davis up here and have a little chat with him real quick to see what he got out of that and whatnot, because he's reviewing the wreck. And not only that, one thing I did learn today in the conversations that happened with some of these drivers, because there was some trash talking going on in chat today. Let's just put it like that. One thing I got out of it, though, was that the way that Kevin looks at the replays, he does it a traditional way that it should be done, basically. He'll look at the previous laps to see if the braking points at all changed, because that'll determine if you do have somebody potentially brake checking or doing whatever with their trucks in that kind of situation here. So as we watch pit stops here, everybody 4 tires and fuel, about that point where you can go ahead and take a set of tires here, leaving 2 sets to go with to get you to the last 110 laps of this race. And there's the race off pit road being won by McCune. And going to come back to the green flag here at lap number 91. McCune, Alphin, Cummings, Dalton, and Daniels. Your top 5 here at lap 92. We're going to let you enjoy a little turn it up here. How about custom camera style? I mean, I got to do this myself. Let's enjoy this. Caution is out, lap 94. That went long. Lap number 94, and I believe that is Drayton Cook that is going around in the 8 truck. So unfortunately here, 3 of the 4 TI trucks have been involved. And I'm sorry, that was Tim Abril in the black and blue number 3. Let's see what happens to him. Got Jeremy Frere on his inside there. He might have had a little bit of help. Otherwise, he does go around there in the corner. Everybody just kind of scatters and slows up, and caution out for the 4th time. And this is going to give me an opportunity. I'm going to just quiet my mic here for a second. All right, so lap number 97 in the books here, and you saw Alex Bryson get the lucky dog. And he'll be back on the lead lap. Some trucks on pit road. Telder is in. Robert Lukens, Alex Bryson. The Telder pit stop is interesting considering there's the pace car. And he's pulling away, so I wonder if he's getting some damage fixed here. And also, if Telder got, I don't know if Telder got EOL'd or something from that caution with him and Blaine, but if he did, then obviously he's at the back of the field already. Come on in, get some of that damage fixed, and go from there. All right, while we're under caution, I'm going to get one to go real quickly. Let's show you the schedule for what's coming up here next week. It is the Nashville Fairgrounds. We'll be there next week, round number 9. And then, of course, the 100th race in series history, 100 laps at Michigan. And then the playoffs start at Iowa Speedway on November 16th. We'll take Thanksgiving off, go to Most Sports, Indianapolis, and Chicago right before we get to Christmas. Pace car lights back on. And I've noticed that Bryce McCune is not up front anymore. What in the world has happened to Bryce? Did he disappear out of the race? Are we having more issues here? But now, I'll have to investigate that situation. That's now 2 leaders who have just either left or dropped out mid-race. As Alex Cummings now leads. Brandon Olfen, Jason Dalton, Luke Daniels, Ben Pierce, your top 5. And we'll try to turn it up here for you again for the restart. Lap number 100, halfway. Around goes a couple trucks. Frere, Casey Duncan, Dalton Wilson, Jason Branch, Tyler Brewer. Big wreck over here in turn 1 and 2. And that brings out the 5th caution. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit there. I actually was hitting every camera myself doing the switch. That was interesting. All right, let's see what happened. That was a big wreck. Telders shoots the middle there on Martin and the 12. Branches get, you know what? Identical wrecks right there. Branch looks like gets on the brakes too hard with the rear end. And you see the same thing out of the 55. And unfortunately for the 55, he had nowhere low to go, and it kicked him up into the track. And he took out a lot of trucks. You're going to look up ahead. You're going to see the 12 get sideways on brake. And then 2 cars back from him, the 55 goes around. And he hits the inside wall, kicks him into Brewer. And then Abril and Bryson come to a complete stop. Again, I called Dalton Wilson Bryson. They're going to yell at me later, I'm sure. And Casey Donkin, nowhere to go. T-bones in. Cautions breed cautions. Now, why is it good that we're already past halfway and we're at our 5th caution? Because the race was actually set tonight to a 2-hour time limit. And I think that was accidentally done. So, usually we have plenty of time to get this race in. Tonight we kind of don't. We're at the somewhere around the 40-minute mark right now. We're at 1:06. So that's good news. As long as we don't turn this into a brouhaha, if you will, then we should get through 200 laps here. Oh, man. Let's talk to somebody. Oh, we got a caution out here. Or actually, we'll... see if we get 1 to go this time by. I believe we'll get 2 to go since we had a lucky dog. Nope, lights are out, so we'll go green. We'll talk. If we get another caution here, we'll talk to them, somebody, the next caution. So our rest of the schedule this week. Friday night, of course, the All-American ARCA Series at Talladega Super Speedway. You can watch that War Guy race for 94 laps. Should be interesting Friday night there. And Saturday, you got the... I'll have to check the schedule. I think we have a race Saturday for VOR. Now, I definitely know Sunday night and Monday night we're off next week, so I get some time off for Halloween. Might dress up as an iRacing broadcaster. As Cummings brings him to the green. Lap 108. Luke Daniels up the track, almost got taken 3 wide there for a second. As you see Bryson on pit road. As Dalton looks to the inside of the 21. Ben Pierce up there with Sean Peachin, Lucas Strayer. See Dane Cruz and Luke Knupp, a couple of the Red Sim Design guys have worked their way up there. But action really going to start to pick up now as we get into the latter part of this race. You see Ricky Springer trying to battle as he's got a damaged truck. As Strayer dives it in there on Ben. Former teammates. I'm sure Ben did not appreciate that move. Sean Peachin behind him, ready to pounce. Ben using that middle lane to kind of battle here, and he's going to hold him off. Clean racing, even though it looked ugly at the start. Here's Cam Ingram inside of the 46 of Dane Cruz. And Telder ready to pounce here. Probably an angry Telder, if you will. Angry Telder is a fun Telder, but an interesting Telder at the same time. Back here, a couple trucks we haven't mentioned tonight. That 48 of Dean, we've not mentioned him a couple times earlier. And then there's the 19 of Cedric Ingram. And in front of them, you see the 95 back on track. Bryce McCune, unfortunately, is now 8 laps down. So he had to have disconnected or had some kind of issue that caused him to disconnect from the race. And around goes Dane Cruz. William Martin up into Cedric Ingram. And that is caution number 6. Oh boy. You know? There's a part of me that's not surprised by this move right here as Telder gets into the back of Dane Cruz. Oh, man. This is going to look like Moto Combat. Red Sim Design versus Telder. Put it like this. In chat today, in Discord, there was some trash talking going on. And some of the stuff that was brought up was the defensive driving of the Red Sim Design guys. A lot of people calling it blocking. That happened last week in Milwaukee, more predominantly with Sparling and Luke Canup. And there were some people out there that said, hey, you know, we're not going to be afraid to race aggressive if you throw a defensive move. So I'm going to let you guys make the call on this one. Does Dane make a defensive move, or blocking, if you will, on Telder here? Because basically Telder did a Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick 2003 at Richmond all over again. So caution out for the 6th time at lap 119. And this gives me a chance. Let's talk to Alex in the 63 truck. Bring him up here real quick. Alex, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Let's talk a little bit here. You've worked your way up to the lead. You started in the 11th position and just been patient tonight. Had some grid battles with your teammate Daniels there a little bit ago. And now with the issue with Bryce McCune, they're dropping out for the second there. You've worked your way up here with Dalton, and you've had some good battles with him. But, hey, leading this race with 80 to go.
Yeah, definitely didn't expect to be up here, especially how practice was going. The setup's a little loose, so I'm just trying to get used to it and really just trying to get into a rhythm. And thankfully we had that really long green flag run there, and I think that helped a lot.
All right, so we're going 1 to green here this time, but just a quick question here on this standpoint. You've came in to iRacing as a dirt guy. How much is the dirt helping you drive on that right rear tonight?
Excuse me. I think it's helping a lot, especially with just throttle control. I think that's a big thing tonight, is just having that.
Absolutely, man. Well, good luck and great job so far.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Alex Cummings and the Lap 1 Legends leading here. As we come back to the green, lap 121, I think business is picking up here, as we've just seen. So we'll keep an eye on a few of these battles now as we go back to racing. Best of luck to Kevin Davis and those guys in the admin booth. May the force be with them. As Alfin trying to get inside of Daniels there. You see the battle with Pearson Strayer again. Stephen Miles behind him there. And you see Sean Peachin. Oh, Josh Gagnon. Welcome to the admin world, buddy. I've been there. Oh! almost some contact here, I thought. Miles and Canup stuck up there on that top side. Miles got a little tight there off the corner, but he finds his way to the inside. And I think Springer just cut him a break. Matter of fact, I'm going to mute the chat and I'm going to go listen to them as they're driving. I haven't done that all night because I was waiting for somebody to come in chat talking to me or something for admin-wise. All right, so this is interesting here. There's the 59 of Sparling, and there's Telder. And about 3 trucks back is the 46 of Dane Cruz. Oh, leaning on each other again. Bryce McCune's like, man, I'm out of here. I got a flight or something to catch. In all, actually, I don't know what happened to Bryce. I just threw that out there. But he has pulled off the track and taken that 59, or whatever number he is. 59's Blaine. 95, the reciprocal, behind the wall. So while that settled down for a second, Dean and Cedric Ingram back here at the 14th, 15th position. Robert Lukens there at Palmer, number 33, running 17th himself. Almost gets up into Cedric. Easy there, Lukey. I'm going to be straight forward here when I say this. I'm very impressed with what I've seen tonight. I'm not going to say I expected a wreck fest, but I was ready for it. And these guys have gone out here and put on a good show. Good short track racing. There's been some tempers and some beating and banging, but it's been good. If you don't go to a short track race, let me rephrase that. If you go to a short track race and you expect there to be like 4 cautions, hypothetically, then everybody has the right to ask you what you're smoking. But here tonight, we've had 6 cautions. If we got to 10, I would understand that. I mean, I brought up the USA Speedway race back season 3, I think it was, or season 4. Won by Caden Atkins, by the way. Mr. Unsolved on chat here. Springer doing a great job getting out of the gas there, letting Canup catch that truck. That could have been bad. But that USA race had 17 cautions. And I think, if I remember correctly, it took forever and a day to get done with. As Drayton Cook and Brian Sutphin battle. Cummings half second up on Dalton right now. Oh, Drayton leaning on Luke here. 2 aggressive drivers. Drayton almost gets the inside wall. They're still leaning on each other here. Easy, fellers. Drayton completes the pass. By far the best runner of the TI team, unfortunately, tonight with their issues they've had. Luke putting pressure on Brandon Off in there. You see Strayer behind him. Sean Peachin under attack. You see Drayton, who is inside here. as he completes the pass and then catches the outside wall there a little bit. You see Knupp there ahead of him. So 20 trucks up, caution out. Robert Lukens has spun it around. And caution out for the 7th time here. See what happens to Bob. Gets loose off turn 4. He actually had it caught. Nice save. I almost feel like he was in a 4-wheel drift the whole entire way there, and he gets hit by Cedric. And we've got some pit stops here. Some trucks mid-pack coming to pit road for that second set of tires here. Cam Ingram, Ricky Springer, Sutphin, Peach and Dean, Sparling, Knupp, Cruz, Cedric Ingram, and Will Martin, and Robert Lukens all coming to pit road here. For tires and fuel, I kind of like this move. You still have a set left. Andy? Virginia's Andy Moore joining us in chat, and he says, funny looking flight sim, and that's because over on Twitch right now, down at the bottom it says flight sim. It doesn't update what sim is playing when I do the restream. I'll be flying after the race. I'll be flying home, as a matter of fact, from here at Myrtle Beach. For those who don't know, if you're interested in this, it could be quite boring sometimes. I'm going to be straight honest with you. But I have started last week. It was actually tonight, last week, that I started flight simming. And I would almost automated, but at the same time autopilot. But I fly from whatever track I'm at to the next track. And if I don't have a track, then I go home. And it's like actually flying a plane. I mean, the flight sim, it's got all the actual like towns and cities and airports, and the weather's real, the day of the time, everything is real. It's all real, but it's a simulator. And basically, when I'm done with this race, I'll probably, after a few minutes of talking to the guys, we'll set it up, and over on the Twitch channel of the Captain Esports Network, you can watch the flights happen. We fly, and I'll be flying from here to Gainesville. Like probably Gainesville, Georgia is going to be all of like 30 minutes probably. But I'll be trying, and I'm tempted to try the flight myself. I haven't done this one yet. I've lifted off a few times, but never done much more than that. So that'd be interesting. But I've had fun doing it so far this week. I've been everywhere. I've been from here to Las Vegas to, where else have I been? St. Louis. I've been to Daytona once. I mean, I've been flying around a little bit, so it's been fun. 3 wide mid-pack. As we go back racing at 145. Telder and Miles think better of it and let Drayton Cook take that outside lane. And here comes Peachin outside. 3 wide. He's climbing the wall. Oh, and around goes Knupp, and Telder's in the wall with Peachin. And Stephen Miles again, unfortunately. Brian Sutphin with damage. Once again for Miles, the rough luck hits him again. And Telder, who is one of the faster trucks trying to work his way up through the field. I think that's Knupp's voice I hear in chat saying that was my fault. Oh, Ricky Springer got a piece of it too. Oh, matter of fact, Stephen Miles landed on Ricky Springer. Peachin Apparently got the meatball and is not happy about it. Let's slow it down here. What exactly happened here? What I'm seeing is, again, you're early in a run, and short tracks are very notoriously for having rear braking, but you know what? I see Miles already going sideways. And I wonder if Knupp got into him and then jumps on the brakes. They both hit the, well, Miles hits the inside wall. Clobbers Telder, clobbers Peachin. And then they ping-pong back, and then Springer takes one off the A-frame of the right side. And then into Brian Sutphin they go. He gets damage. Unfortunately, late in the race here, carnage starting to break out. Wade Wilms tried the whole flying to whatever track. It's worked out for me this week, other than I've had to learn a couple lessons the hard way. Thankfully, I'm in a sim, or else I'd be dead. I was flying a small plane like at 14,000 feet, and they kept telling me to stay at 14 to 15,000, the tower was. The bad news is I was in the Rocky Mountains. So I look up as I'm watching, and I'm like, man, do these guys not see there's a mountain in front here? And of course, the plane slams right into the mountain. I'm like, really? That happened. So I've had to learn a little bit with the sim. It's been fun. I enjoy it. And it's worked out being able to fly to these tracks. I've done a couple overnight flights where I've gone to bed and let the flight continue on the stream. I actually woke up Monday morning, was it? And as I was waking up to come in here, I was landing in Las Vegas for the Sim 500 race. It was kind of like perfect timing. But thankfully, I only have a couple more flights left this week, and I actually get to maybe practice some flying actually in the sim. But mostly it's autopiloting and stuff like that until I can learn. Plus, I'm using a PlayStation controller. All right, so 50 laps to go. Don't make me start singing. 50 laps to go. Alex Cummings leading this race with Dalton, Daniels, Alfin, and Pierce, your top five. Anyways. 25 viewers. I like it. Appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Need you every night that I stream. Oh, Springer caught the outside wall. Probably got tight. He's just trying to survive. So behind the wall after all this mess has happened, Brian Sutphin, Stephen Miles, Sean Peachin, Cedric Ingram, Jason Branch, Bryce McCune, Jeremy Frere, Tyler Brewer, Tim Averill, Dalton Wilson, Casey Duncan, Sam Fontaine. We have 16, make that 15 trucks on the lead lap. Telder is 1 lap down. Alex Bryson 2 laps down. Dalton to the inside for the lead. Leaning almost on each other. Sutphin comes off pit road and joins the race again. Back here, teammates, former teammates battling. Drayton Cook there, Cam Ingram. Settled up there to lead. This is the best battle on track right here. 4 trucks under a blanket. Up, caution out, trouble for Robert Lukens. And it sounds like William Martin taking the blame here on, I believe it's his former teammate there, Robert Lukens. Oh, he gave me the old heave. That's a straight eat job. See it one more time here. Martin just gets in the back of him with 40 laps to go. Leaders stay out, but one truck coming to pit road. That guy right there, the 41 of Lucas Strayer. Let me... I see Sean's in there talking to Kevin right now. I'm going to yank Kevin out of the channel here for a second. Hopefully he's not reviewing the wreck. It should be pretty simple, that one. I want to bring Kevin up here really quickly. Kev, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation there, but I just got to ask, is there anything outside the wrecks and stuff? Have you heard anything pit strategy-wise here? Because now we're getting 40 to go. We still got trucks on their first or second set of tires now. Have you heard anything?
At what, the next race?
I honestly haven't heard a thing. With all the commotion and the, generic short track racing, we've had a lot of muted mics and upset drivers, so I really haven't been welcomed too much into their pit stalls. But I'll definitely look into that and see if I can make it out alive and see if I can get something for you. But right now, honestly, we're closing up right here, less than 40 to go. I don't know.
That's going to be my
if they haven't pitted yet, are they going to pit? So for tires, I mean, it's kind of a dog eat dog thing up there, and if Alex goes for it, who's going to go with him? So,
right.
I don't know if I'd be a little scared to pit right now.
Right, as we heard, I think it's Springer talking about Halloween costumes. All right, well, go send Sergeant Kankles there to check on some strategies there, and we'll go from there. But nice job tonight, man, and keep it up.
See what I can come up with.
Absolutely. As Kevin Davis down the race control there, appreciate his time, and I realized mid-chat, I'm like, wow, they're still talking in chat. I didn't have them muted. Sergeant Kankles, by the way, is my joke for Gagnon. As we come back to green, 38 laps to go. These guys might be done pitting up front here, I wonder. As Cummings launches, here we go. Dalton trying to get to the bottom. Daniel's going to try to take top side here. How about Drayton Cook up to the top 5? If you listened to the podcast on Monday night, I said, or Tuesday morning when it came out, I said that Drayton could be somebody on a short track to watch, and here he is, top 5. Up here, teammates. And here comes the fresh tires there of Lucas Strayer in the 41. He's just got to be patient. Good battle here with Knupp and Cam Ingram. As Strayer works his way through, and right here, battle for the 5th position. You see Drayton Cook has gone by Luke Daniels. Here is Ben Pierce now. Did Cook take tires somewhere? Because he is, oh, you know what? Lap 117, Drayton Cook took tires. And he is going through this field like I go through a ham and cheese sandwich. Lunchtime. I did not realize that I missed that, but here on my telemetry, he pitted lap 117 in this race. Hey, what if Drayton gets up here and gets this lead and we stay green, he might win this thing. Well, obviously in that case, but that might bring these leaders to pit road. We get one more caution. Strayer's up to 9th after his pit stop. The tires are playing a factor right now. I'm proud of this league. This is awesome. I am happy to be wrong about what I thought could happen tonight. And the reason why I say these kind of things in chat and in races and in the podcast is because I say what I think of what I think is going to happen. They want me to be honest, I say it. And oh, netcoach! Blaine gets into Lucas a little bit. There was a little netcode in that too, and there's your caution. So 27 laps to go, and here comes Brandon Alphin to the pits. Here comes Daniels. Here comes Pierce. This might be the winning move right here. Cam Ingram, Matt Telder, William Martin all to pit road here. Let's see the replay of what happens at a 41. But I was just starting to say that, again, I speak what I feel when I see, you know, the podcasts and stuff like that. You know, I hope that, so yeah, there was just proof from, I just heard it from Kevin. That's why I stopped talking. They did prove that there was netcode between Blaine and Lucas there. And there's the netcode right there. So you can't totally put the blame on anybody for that. But, no, going back to what I'm saying, though, it's like I said that there was a chance this would be a wreckfest. And 10th caution, 25 laps to go. I have no problem with this race. It's been great. It's been some great short track racing. You've got tempers. You've had passes. You've got strategy. You've got everything you would want in a short track race right now with 25 laps to go. And I have a really good feeling that the tempers are going to pick up here very shortly in this race. And this might be a good time to have people check their tempers at the door. All right, so 2 to go this time by. Alex Cummings, Jason Dalton, Drayton Cook, who has the freshest tires up. Let me back up that comment. Drayton Cook has fresher tires than the top 2. Blaine Sparling is 4th. Christopher Dean is 5th. They pitted at lap 40. And then there's Luke Knupp, Dane Cruz, Ricky Springer. They pitted lap 149. Robert Lukens at 160. Strayer at 159, of course, during that last caution. And then it's the brigade at 174. Alphin, Daniels, and Pierce. Going to be 11th, 12th, and 13th as we come to the green flag. We've got tire strategies everywhere. If I'm Dalton and if I'm Cummings right now, I'm not too thrilled with what's behind me. Lap 1 Legends, KJD2, TI, Red Sim Design. We got a Red Sim Design truck on a KJD truck. Sponsored truck there. And here we go. 21 to go. Hopefully you got your adult beverage. Hopefully it's a Black Horizon beverage. Your popcorn. and whatever else you need to enjoy this last 21 laps that could be here for a while. And around Ben Pierce. Luke Daniels up into the wall with him. Robert Lukin's involved. Pierce gets the inside run there. As you see, Daniels getting a little loose. That's funny. I didn't even see the wreck. That was so funny. Zach Allman with the line of the night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not old enough to drink beer. Can I have apple juice? Have a hugs. I miss those drinks. You know what happened there? Lukens had a run to the inside of Springer, and Lukens kind of got out of it. Ben drove it in there to turn one and made the contact. I would call that a straight short track move right there. So 19 to go. Next week, Nashville Fairgrounds, a higher banked half mile, or actually it's a 6/10 of a mile track. And if you've not watched a race at Nashville, you'll get the iRacing version of it, and you'll see why so many people are anxious to see this track maybe back in NASCAR again in the near future. Fun, short track. Worn out banking, or worn out track. Was it 24 degrees of banking, I believe, in the corners? Or is it 18? I can't remember exactly. But the banking is a good-sized banking, fast speeds, loose corners. It's going to be a lot of fun next week at Nashville. Yeah, I believe it's another 200-lap race. I want to remind you, if you haven't done it already, you can set your fantasy lineups each and every week. Make sure you go sign up and set your lineups for next week. When we go to Nashville, of course, Butt Kicker is the fantasy prize. And you can get a Butt Kicker if you win. Top point scorer gets in a raffle each and every week for the chance to win that. And, of course, you got Edwards Setup Shop, the official setups for tonight's race was done by Austin Edwards in the setup shop. It's a nice job on their part there. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And, of course, Telders Treehouse sponsoring the Lost Speedways 200 here tonight. So a big shout out to Telder. Unfortunately, not going to win likely his sponsored race, but at least we're going to have an entertaining one here. As we go back to green, 15 laps to go. It's been Cummings and Dalton for about 100 laps up here at the front. Sam Fontaine started on pole, ran away, and literally ran away after lap 9. And then Bryce McCune took the lead from there, and he had issues and blinked out. And it's been these two the rest of the way, and caution back out. And it looks like it's Lucas Strayer who has gone around. Lucas just trying to work. You see, spins the tires. Oh, 3 wide. Daniels goes inside of Lukens, and, well, around goes the 41. Backs it into the wall. Once again, short track move that laps are counting down. People are making moves. All right, I might have just heard the funniest thing in the world, and this is Brian Sutphin, his personality here. He's 8 laps down. He's fighting out here. He just said, boys, I'm 8 laps down. I'm going to come back and be a part of this race. There's 12 laps to go in the race. How do you do that? Well, you get a lot of cautions. The problem is, though, is there are only 3 green, white checkers. Or 2, I'm sorry. And, yeah, he'll run out of time. So, he'll make maybe a couple laps, but we'll see. This is a time to see. Hey, Telder, are you watching chat right now? You watching the race? Looks like we'll go green, about 9 laps to go here. That's how you know. You know, there's something about Ricky I want to say about his horsepower right now. About it. You know, but he might hurt me for it. All right, so we're going to come to the green with Dalton running second, same top 2. Drayton Cook, now Christopher Dean up to 4th, and Blaine Sparling 5th. Brandon Alphin topside there. He's the first truck that pitted at lap 174. So he's got the freshest tires of anybody in the top 10 right now. As we come back green, will we survive 9 laps? Cook leaning on Dean a little bit there. And takes 3rd. Alphin topside here making moves. Gets a little tight there off turn 4. Has to settle in and battle Dane Cruz. Caution back out. Cam Ingram. And Ben Pierce. And Luke Knupp comes to pit road here. As there's the spin, the contact between the two. Let's look at it. One more time here. See, they're behind Luke Daniels. Oh, you know what? It looks like maybe... I mean, short track move, unfortunately, there again. But it looks like maybe Ben entered a little high and made the contact with Cam. I'm not going to put the blame on anybody there, but it did bring the caution out. And Luke Knupp, as I mentioned, is on pit road. And I think he just took himself a set of tires. Very interesting move here. Has fallen to 17th. All right, so let's kind of look over everything here. So as we're going to come to the green with could be 2 laps to go. Right now we're at 196, going to 197. If we do not get one to go here, we're actually going to get a green-white checker. But Alex Cummings, Jason Dalton pitted at lap 87. They have gone 110 laps on this tank of fuel here. And we did get one to go, so we will not have a green-white checker here. It will be a straight-up finish unless we get a caution. Christopher Dean pitted at lap 140. Drayton Cook, lap 117. Brandon Alphin, lap 174. So we have 4 different pit strategies in the top 5 right now. Who do you want to beat? I like where Dean sits right now. I like where Alphin sits right now with those tire strategies. We'll see how it goes, though. 2 laps to go. Does Cook get a run on Cummings here? Clean restart up front. Oh, Alphin's in the inside wall. And saves it. Got it straight back out, but it hurt his truck. And now he's spinning almost again. White flag. Down the back straightaway to turn 3. Alex Cummings off turn 4. Gonna see checkered flag for the first time this season. Lap 1 legends and Alex Cummings wins in Myrtle Beach. Jason Dalton second, Drayton Cook third. Christopher Dean and Dane Cruz your top 5. Travis, you got nothing to hang your head over, man. This was a fantastic race. That period. Look how many viewers we got watching this race right now. Fantastic. Alex starting to gain that momentum. That he carried into his regular season championship last season. As we all of a sudden jumped to 30 viewers. Love it. This is officially, I believe, the second highest number we've had in league history, behind the season 3 finale, I believe, at Homestead, or was that Chicagoland? Little Polish victory lap there for the 63. Yeah, there's going to be some tempers tonight. Fully expected. And for Alex's 5th career win, Alex Pillow, I believe it is. No, it's Pato Award. The IndyCar driver has a tradition, as I look at the website right now, where every time he wins, I believe they eat tacos for dinner. And I noticed that Alex Cummings' favorite food is tacos. Will there be tacos in Alex Cummings' future? Either way, let's take a look at the final results here from Myrtle Beach Speedway. As Alex wins it over Jason Dalton, Drayton Cook, Christopher Dean, and Dane Cruz, your top 5, with Brandon Alphin 6th. Telder comes back to finish 7th. William Martin finishes 8th. Ricky Springer gets 9th. Lucas Strayer 10th. I think the bottom half of the top 10 all had issues this race. Luke Knupp, hey, the tire strategy got him to 11th. Alex Bryson 12th. Ben Pierce 13th. Luke Daniels 14th with Cam Ingram, Robert Lukens, Blaine Sparling finishing 17th. Brian Sutphin finishing in the 18th position. 19th goes to Sean Peach and Stephen Miles, 20th. Cedric Ingram, 21st. Jason Branch, Bryce McCune, Jeremy Frere, Tyler Brewer, Tim Abril, Dalton Wilson, Casey Duncan finishing in the 28th position. They were all in that big wreck at halfway. Sam Fontaine finishing 29th, and Ikavachi did not run the race here tonight. That saw its carnage and saw its great racing and saw its angry drivers. But again, short track racing at its finest. Let's talk to the top 3 in the race. Let's start with TI's Drayton Cook, who gets his first top 5 of the season here this afternoon or evening here at Myrtle Beach. Drayton taking advantage of some pit strategy here. You pitted at lap 117, put some tires on, come roaring through the field, and just had too many cautions there at the end, but a great top 3 effort for you.
Yeah, it was a good run. Putting the tires on definitely helped. Would have liked to see in the last 40 go green. I think I had something for both those guys, but toward the end there, it was more about just protecting on the restarts. Couldn't really focus on the mountain of charge, but yeah, it was a good race. Yeah,
obviously you've not had the best start to the season as you continue trying to climb your way up there, but to get this third place finish on a short track, I kind of mentioned this was it seems like your bread and butter is these short tracks. And though, you know, obviously you've got talent at a lot of different tracks, but I just thought about Bristol and how well you run there. And yes, this track has no comparisons at all to Bristol, but it's a short track, and I figured you would run pretty well here.
Yeah. Anything that requires brakes, I feel like it's definitely more up my alley. I mean, this track is a great late model track. I wouldn't say it's a great truck track necessarily. A lot of slipping and sliding, especially on entry and exit, but no, I mean, it requires a little bit of skill, and obviously the tires at the end, that last 80 laps or so, tires were a big deal. So even at the end, some of them TI guys were coming through the field even on a couple laps.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I see that as I look at the standings here. How much fun was it driving off the right rear for once? Because normally these setups, you drive off the right front, but we had one tonight, you kind of drove off the right rear a little bit.
Yeah, that's like I said, it drove like a late model, just with a lot more weight on it. Feels good to race something that actually feels like a race car for once. It takes a little talent to drive. If we keep these coming on short tracks, I think it produced a good show, except for the cautions at the end. Obviously, we don't want to see that, but there was that middle run there for a while where tires really became a big thing. People were falling off, people were coming forward, you know, and just an overall, it was a pretty good race for the setup that was provided.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight, man. Shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, just all the TI guys, especially the guys that stuck around with me at the end there. Shout out to Bryce. He had the race, I think, locked up there in the middle, and then his internet locked up on him. So just shout him out, give him a chance a little bit. But yeah, and appreciate you putting on these broadcasts. It's nice to get to talk to you again. It's been a while since I talked to you after one of these races. So you know, let's make this a regular thing. How about that?
I like the idea. I like the way it sounds. And we're at Nashville next week, which is more like Bristol than anything else. So.
Hey, listen, we'll be ready for them.
There you go. Nice job tonight. Third place finish for Drayton Cook. And the TI team there getting a top 3 tonight. And well-deserved after some rough luck so far this season for him. And our second place driver tonight, Mr. Dalton. Again, another driver that I said, if he finishes this race, he will finish likely in the top 5. And he goes and does it tonight. Jason Dalton, another top 5 run on a short track for you. Just never gets old. And you know what's funny is I think about this. I never questioned one time if you were going to put the bumper to Alex because you're not that kind of guy.
No, I didn't want to do that. I mean, if it was Telder or somebody, maybe so. But I wouldn't have done it to Alex. I just wish we'd had a few more green flag laps to be able to battle a little bit because we were running pretty close to the same speeds, and I just wanted to see who could pull it off.
Look, Mark Martin would put the Telder to Telder, or put the bumper to Telder. So let's just be real there for a second. But anyways, great finish though. Obviously something that you've needed, a great top 5, and great momentum for that KJD2 trucks. I see you guys had 2 in the top 5, so that's definitely good.
Yeah, we needed a good run here. We've had some issues, and I'm surprised you even remember who I am after this season. I've been in the middle of the pack, and with my teammates, we've had issues running into each other, and which nobody's fault. Just luck of the draw, the way it happens. But man, it's been a tough year, and this is actually my first top 10 of the season. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm tickled to death, and I need some momentum heading here into the last couple races.
Yeah, it's been obviously that struggle. I mean, it's tough when you get a field like this. I mean, it could be good, could be bad, or whatever, but you've done your part tonight to run well. Congratulations on that. Send some shouts whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, shout out to Sam, man. He was fast. I don't know what happened there with the call and different things. A little bit aggravated about that. We might have been a three trucks in the top 5 tonight, but you know, um, I appreciate everything you do. The broadcast, it's always awesome. It's really good talking to you again. And some people, family, and friends watching tonight, and my teammates. We put a lot of practice into this track and trying to build some momentum, man. So appreciate it.
Well, this is where it starts. Great top 2 for you tonight. Congratulations, and let's go do it again at Nashville.
All right, man. Hopefully, I'll talk to you next week.
That sounds good, buddy. Jason Dalton, top 2 finish here tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Great job on his part, and being a part of the KJD2 guys. Obviously, a great run there. And let's go to Victory Lane and talk to the driver of the 63. Telder couldn't win his own race, so why not get his driver to do it? And that's exactly what happened tonight with Lap 1 Legends going to Victory Lane as Alex gets to win here tonight. Alex, obviously great job. And, obviously if the fourth wheel couldn't get the win for his team, it's good to see at least Alex get the win here in a sponsored race, huh?
Oh yeah. Didn't expect to be up here, but we'll take it how we can get it. Like I said, definitely wasn't the fastest, but sometimes I guess it pays to be lucky and be there at the right moments.
How much did it help those cautions at the end? Because you were able to get to the inside lane and get the restarts every single time.
I just got to give a big shout out to Telder. They in some of the practice races they do, and they were restarting in third gear, and so I just started doing that after he told me that, and it really got me a good start on the restart. So I just kept doing that, and I don't think if it wasn't for that, Dalton would have probably been a lot closer.
Well, it was a great effort there. How big is it to get a win here? Because once again tonight, Fontaine, I don't know what happened there. But a tough break on his end. And then obviously Ricky came back to finish 9th. So once again, you're going to gain a good amount of points here.
Oh yeah, I definitely need them for some of the tracks we're going to. I don't know how Nashville will be, so glad to get a good finish here, not knowing that track, haven't even ran any laps on it. And then I think we got Michigan after that, so that should be another good track as long as I can stay out of trouble.
I remember last season, you and a teammate named Bondurant pushed each other all around Michigan, basically. So I expect to see good things there. But Nashville next week should be a lot of fun. And send some shout outs whoever you like to, my man.
I just got to give shout out to everybody on the Lap 1 Legends team. Give a shout out to everybody that puts on the league. And then shout out for you for doing the broadcast. And shout out to my dad. He should be out there watching.
Oh, he's watching. He's pretty happy with you. Happy to see you in Victory Lane here tonight, man. Congratulations, your 5th career win coming here tonight at Myrtle Beach, a short track for you. So congratulations and go celebrate.
Oh, yeah. Finally able to add another one to the asphalt. So
there you go, right? So is it 3-2 now?
Yeah, I think I got 3 on asphalt now.
There you go. Nice job,
2.
man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Alex Cummings, the winner tonight here in Myrtle Beach as we send him to his Lap 1 Legends team. And tonight, nothing to be ashamed of at all. Great racing all the way around. Obviously, we saw great battles throughout the race and some strategies. I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 different strategies basically finish in the top 10 tonight. So let's put it like that. So it's definitely wild. Usually we talk to the top 3, but I want to bring 4th place up here, and who knows, I might even talk to 5th place as we got a little extended post race, if you will, here. Let's talk to the Dean Machine, who finishes in the 4th position. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Great comeback for you. I know you kind of rode mid to the back of the pack here throughout this race. You came into pit road at lap 140, put on some feel goods, and talk about that run back up through the field there to get a top 5.
I mean, honestly, I got to give it up to luck. I was trying to be patient, trying not to race too hard side by side. I knew it was super easy to miss your braking points at a track like this, especially, a lot of people aren't true short track racers, don't put a lot of effort into it. And I mean, the cards fell my way, and I honestly didn't put in a lot of practice. That's why I started off slow, but by the end of the race, I was in I guess a rhythm, and I just, I'd adjusted my driving style and picked up a little bit of pace, and just tried to hold on to it and keep it clean. And there's very few people out of that race I think that came out with zero incidents, and I'm kind of proud to say I'm one of them.
Yeah, you did a great job. You were patient because there was plenty of stuff there around you. What was it about this track that kind of suits your style?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I just told my team this. If you asked me 2, 3 seasons ago and on back, I would have told you I'm a short track guy. And then I've kind of figured out. I've been racing a lot less recently, and I've kind of figured out, I'm losing a little touch with people. I'm racing a little bit further back in the field, except for at my checked off tracks. And I've been trying to race more to get just back in that rhythm and just get more laps, more tracks, and just, get more skill basically. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, it seems to be working out for you, man. Well, great job. And obviously you got some good short track teammates there with you. And we'll see what you can do at Nashville next week on a worn out surface. So it should be interesting. And send some shout outs whoever you like to, bud.
Man, shout out to my team. Yeah, just like you just said there, short track guys. And when we practice, I feel like I'm 3 to 4 tenths off of them. And I don't know, I adjust better in race. And sorry, I know that's not a question. Hey, shout out to Red Sim Design. Check them out on Instagram, and shout out to you for putting this on, and shout out to the league, Great League Sim Racing. Shout out to Black Horizon, man.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and go enjoy your 4th place finish.
All right, appreciate it.
Absolutely, you too, bud. 4th place, Christopher Dean here tonight in Myrtle Beach. As I see some people moving around chat and stuff like that. Let's move him back down to his KJD2 team. And I do see Dane here, so let's bring the 46 up here and talk to him. A top 5 finish for Dane after starting back in the 19th position for you tonight. Great effort to come back after some issues mid-race.
Yeah, honestly, everything about it was pretty crazy. I woke up with like 15 minutes left in the session and hopped in there and got my first laps on the racetrack. So I'm really happy with the 5th. I moved closer to the playoffs after missing a couple races. So I'm happy with it. Not gonna mention what happened to me and Telder. I guess it got worked out. So whatever.
Well, still in the end, you get the top 5 after all that happening. Obviously, another great finish for you and the team as you continue to have a pretty successful season outside the couple issues you've mentioned.
Yeah, tonight was kind of rough for us, unfortunately. There's just tight racing, and it's a kind of a 1-lane racetrack, and if you're on the outside, you're pinching super hard, and it was really loose on the brakes as well. So it's just kind of how the race went, and it was fun. I've never driven that track before, so I had a good time learning it. So
absolutely, man. Well, yeah. I was going to say, great job tonight. Good top 5. Send some shout-outs whoever you want to.
Good shout out to Red Sim Design and Red Sim Racing. I appreciate my teammates. Unfortunately, Caden wasn't here, but yeah, they were doing good all night, so I'm happy with it. So that's about it.
Yeah, I think they were hacking on you about drinking apple juice, just FYI. So, anyways, good job tonight and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Dane Cruz finishing in the 5th position with his RSR boys. So, all right, there we go. Talk to the top 5 tonight. There we go. So, next week it is the Nashville Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. About said Super Speedway. As we'll get you ready. 2 races to go after tonight when it is all said and done. And you know what? Let me do this really quickly. I'm taking a chance. And the points are not updated. Okay. See if the points are updated on the screen here real quickly. And they are not. So, all right. We'll go on to next week's race at Nashville, as I mentioned, 200 laps there under the lights. Another fun short track Wednesday night to get you ready for. Should be some fun there. So looking forward to getting out there at the track. So, all right, we're taking off. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. Happy Halloween. If you're with your kids and stuff Monday night, taking them out or whatever, be careful and enjoy that. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Brickyard.